Well, great afternoon. I wanted to look, and I don't know if we're going to get an answer or not, but I wanted to ask because Scotus is just so well, let's just say it's not going in a good way. So my question is, if we get a Democratic president, House, and Senate, what are we looking at with Scotus, when there be changes? So the first card I got out at the center is about perfection. Let's shuffle these other cards and see what we get. Because something needs to be done with this Federalist society that's being basically run by the uber wealthy. So above it we have new ideas, a new message, new mentality. And there does need to be something looked at. Now we have the Federalist Society, which is infiltrating all of the training centers and things for up-and-coming lawyers. So they're being basically having, what's the word I want to use? The word's not coming now. It'll come in a while. Yeah, the divergent path. So looking at this light coming in and new ideas about this divergent path that's happened with the court system. Propaganda. That's the word I wanted. Propaganda. They are being raised with these propaganda ideologies by the uber right. So going into it, we have walls. Okay. So when I see walls, something like that, we need to create structures, a better system for that. Above it, we have this, things that have been hidden, not taken in, when it comes to the mental realm, subconscious, that they are being, like I said, propaganda. They've been having so much propaganda. And the marriage of that, the uber right Federalist Society, that they're contracted out to, married to this divergent path. And so we can look at that. So let's see what we have. A transition. Yeah. Looking at transitioning that. Let's see what we have above it. Transitioning that. Yeah. From this wealthy Federalist Society propaganda that they've had, infiltrating that to the community. So, yeah, the foundation, we've had this divergent path that they've been married to in the community, bringing that into the community. We have new ideas and message about, the things that have been closed off by the wealthy, the things not taken in, the things that they have done with the court system. So looking at a more perfect court system, creating some walls and making this transition. Okay. So it looks like if we get a Democratic president, House and Senate, that they could perhaps enact other laws to straighten this out. But let's look at the tarot and see what we get with that. I want to really shuffle these up well. Okay, so above it all, what's overriding this? Yeah, the abuse of power that we've had, okay? The way that they have run things, this abuse, underneath of it, we're going to be talking about witnessing, looking at these new messages about the abuses of power that this system has been having. Like when it came time to put a new judge in, they said, oh, no, you can't put a new judge in because it's too close to elections. And I mean just the underhanded things that the uber right has done with the system itself. So what we have at the center of it is, this ideology, it's time to come to an end because it's like swords in the back what they've done when it comes to Scotus. They're supposed to be beyond politics, but you see that they are really run by political agendas, being that they are on the payrolls of these wealthy men, okay? So again, it's saying here, overriding it, with the abuse of power, it's time to look at it and put an end to that. And all of this is the mental field that we have our first three cards up, witnessing, talking about it, this abuse of power, and coming to a point of putting an end to that. So above it, let me see if I can get this down a little bit. Above it, we have they don't like what's coming down. Okay, how things have been working, and the foundation is, again, taking steps to move forward and looking at over the long range of things, and perhaps also how this has been fueled by, we know many of these Republicans are fueled by Russian propaganda, etc. And so all of this, they don't like what's coming down. They would take some other steps to move things forward, look at the abuses that have come in, and so how to rectify that. So coming into it, they want to get to a better place, okay? We need to move to a better system. And so what's going on at that moment, coming into it, looking at what happened with, again, the uber right, looking at what's better for America, if you want to look at this, the real positive, if you want to look at it, the negative, how we came under a system where they're kowtowing to somebody that wants to be that wants to be a dictator, okay? So they want to get to a better place and get out of this realm of things we've been dealing with when it comes to the uber right and ones like Trump, these wealthy businessmen that basically have been catered to. So above it, this is about our rules, our laws, our regulations, what's being birthed for America. What do we want for America? And let's see, the foundation is, okay, yeah, taking a strong viewpoint, okay, of transition, really looking at this and the best way to start moving this forward. So we have, mainly so far with this reading, we have a lot of swords. It's all about the mental realm, about what is happening and taking place, changes we can make to our laws, our rules, our regulations when it comes in what we want birthed here as a country. So the challenge would be maintaining power. Who has the power? Okay? Who has the power, again, to make these actions take place? Now, I'm going to pull this card, but I'm not going to look at this as the outcome, so I'm going to lay that there. And we're going to see what's above this. So what's above it is all of these things that are up in the air, that they have been engaging in for so long. The wealth and the power and all of the other drama that they have been putting into place. Could be, that the way that Scotus has been, and they've been having in the back pockets of some of these wealthy men, etc. And so the foundation is to bring that to a rest. Underneath of it all, we have where this is moving forward to. Okay, so let's put that there. And let's look at our card of outcome, what is being offered up. Okay, so we'll have to look and see what's offered up with all of this. Now, if we look at this, and I'll take this apart. First, we'll start with the overarching thing again, of course, is coming to an end point of these abuses of power, having witnessed testimony, and where we are moving this forward to. Okay. With the foundation of, again, taking action when it comes to going into it with a strong ideology of transition and bringing some of this stuff, kowtowing it, and bringing it to a rest point and an end. Above it, again, don't like what's coming down. And we are having to look at all these things that are up in the air when it comes to our rules, our laws, our regulations, and what we want for this country when it comes to Scotus, when it comes to the Justice Department. So what they had going on, they're looking at, what are the beneficial things for the country, the highest, and then also those who wanted to be king, be dictator, and the challenge is who has power and who is going to be able to have power. So going into it, we had wanting to get to a better place and seeing what is being offered. Now, if we take this apart and look at it we start out with the major arcana, the major things that are going on would be our rules, our laws, our regulations, what we're birthing. Are we going to the higher things and looking at those who were, the narcissistic wealthy, and where are we moving this to? What is the motion that we're going to be doing with this? So mentally, we are wanting to put an end to these abuses of power. We have to have new messages coming out, looking at this, and a way to get to a better place with a stronger ideology and bringing to an end some of these things that have been in Scotus with this Federalist society, etc. Time to make changes with that. We're looking at, we don't like what's been coming down, all of the things that are up in the air, and we'll have to see what is being offered when it comes to moving forward, and who has the ability to make these changes, who's got the power, who's holding on to the power of the actions, what actions are we going to take when it comes to this Federalist society and the way that all of these things have been infiltrated by these uber wealthy, which are really behind all of this stuff. You know, it's the same thing with the Constitution and things when they set it up. This is not a democracy, this is a republic. And they have no problem putting that in our face. And they don't like democratic system because they call democratic system mob rule. They like the Republican system where, you have the electoral votes because you are not smart enough to know how to rule. You have to have those of the wealthy that are going to tell you and enlighten you poor little uneducated people on what needs to be done. So we need to change the whole system from this electoral votes, which we see them trying to, micromanage who can vote where. This whole thing, they have been trying to manipulate it for so many years. And we need to change it from electoral votes to actual one person, one vote. The popular vote should be the one that wins. But we need to go from being a republic, and it says what? And to the republic for which I stand, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, it's not liberty and justice for all when you have these so-called elite skewing the system. And they have been skewing and rigging this system for many, many years. So it's only going to be if we get a Democratic president, a Democratic House and Senate, that we can begin to make these changes, much needed changes in the system here, so we can become a true democracy rather than a faux democracy that's run on a Republican agenda. Okay? So I'm going to leave this here. Let me know what you think of this reading. And like I said, these changes can only come about if we get a Democratic president, House, and Senate. Then, in that case, we can start to make some much needed changes. So on that note, I'll leave that here, and we'll see you online.